Hi everyone, welcome to another networking tutorial. Today we are going to look up a new advanced tutorial on wireless network security. So what we'll be basically discussing about is a typical home network environment wherein we have a couple of computers, maybe notebooks, desktops, and we have got another wired devices hooked up to an access point or maybe a wireless router. In order to set up a wireless security, it's basically done from the router's homepage interface. So I'm going to use a Linksys router for this demonstration today. So in order to launch the router's homepage, I launch in my Internet Explorer browser and I type in the router's home page's gateway. That is my in case of a Linksys, it defaults to 192.168.1.1. I press enter and it gives me a prompt to log into my router, and by default the Linksys routers would not have a username. That is, a username for a Linksys router would be blank with admin as the password. This is one of the security flaws which we would definitely like to consider. So first option here would definitely you should go ahead and change the default password, because as I told you, this is a default login credentials to a Linksys device, and like you, each and everyone has an access to this default credential. So as we move on to the wireless tab here and scroll a bit down, and wireless security, by default this would be disabled. We have to enable it in order to secure our wireless device. So I click on enable, and I would quickly exhaust these options one by one. As first option, as we can see, is security mode. This provides me the different types of security methods which my router supports. The first option is WPA pre-shared key, WPA radius, only radius, and the least secured one is Wep. So I'm just going to give you a quick introduction to what these different security modes are. Now, WPA, which stands for Wi-Fi Protected Access Pre-Shared Key, is basically to be used in home and home office environment. This is more secure than the traditional wired equivalency privacy or wired equivalency protocol Wep, which is called as an old method to provide security on a wireless device. Now, Radius, that is a remote access dial-in user service, is basically dealing with corporate or enterprise level administration security, which may not be very much applicable to a home and home office environment. So I'm just going to quickly change this down to we are in a typical home and home office environment. So I'm going to select WPA pre-shared key, and the next option which we have is WPA Algorithms. Now this is again something which you may not have to know. However, TKIP stands for Temporary Key Integrity Protocol, which is another method or an algorithm which works in sync with this security mode to provide advanced security to your wireless router. Now you put in a shared key, which is also known as a passphrase, which would be used to log in to your wireless devices, or to connect, to authorize, to authenticate rather to your wireless devices. And as you can see, this group key renewal by default is for 3600 seconds. What it basically means is after every 3600 seconds this key would be changed or renewed. Now by default this router would regenerate a different key in an interval of the seconds, the number of seconds specified in this particular text box, and the default value is 3600. You can definitely bring this number down if you want advanced security. One of the differences between a WPA and a Wep Key here would be this understanding the group key renewal, because as you can see, this this is more or less a dynamic in nature, wherein web would not provide me this security, and it's static in nature. So whatever you provide remains there, and if someone is able to track and capture your packets over the air, there are tools available. With the help of right set of tools, you can decrypt those packets, and the key can be found very easily. So once I set up a passphrase here, I click on save settings, and this is how security would be enabled on my wireless device. We will come up with more networking videos. Keep an eye. I hope this has been informative as of now, and I would like to thank you for viewing.